Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And the new avatar of Allure, Blanc, is here, the final unit of the Divine General meta, and she's a unit. So, space, magic, uses a hammer, Divine General, Otherworld Legend, Primal Demon, Fount of Wisdom. Okay, yeah, sure. She is another single target alt, just like Raphael. She is an attack alt, so no support for her, just straight up damage. And then her first skill, instead of being the guaranteed crits that we all expected and wanted her to be, she is 150% alt damage. It's unrestricted, and it's really strong for a single buff, 150%, 90 points. It's just not crit, because Almizia seals crit, synergy, and pierce. And we got synergy and pierce from Diablo and the hero, so where's the crit gonna come from? I don't know. But they gave her alt damage. Okay. Her second skill converts 3 space alts into green orbs, specifically space orbs. So on the Divine General team, you have a light character, an earth character, a dark character, and 2 space characters. So on that specific Divine General full team, you're only ever converting 2 of them. I'm not so sure about that. But on top of it, she also does have a weakness resistance down debuff, which is permanent, 20% every single time you use it, which you're probably going to use it quite a bit. So you can probably get 80 to 100% extra, depending. She's True Attribute Unbound, a charge team, so she gets extra damage on turns 6, 7, and 8. Her Valor trait nerfs Green Gauge, which is terrible. But her actual trait, she is the first space character to have the turn 2 protection gauge, which does give her value as a support slot. So, does this outweigh the fact that her kit is kind of not super incredible? No, I don't think so. But at least she does have a good trait. Let's try her out. Alright, let's run her on the Divine General team. Almizia, the hero, Diablo, Gazel, Raphael, and Blanc. This is the full meta setup. She is higher level than Raphael, so she's going to be our quote-unquote DPS character, even though the team has all team-wide buffs. No one has a personal buff to make them the true DPS. Everyone just gets to do damage. So her and Raphael, both single-target space alts, they will do a lot of damage. Obviously, the stage cannot handle 2 of them, so we're just going to nuke with Blanc in this showcase, but we have to get to that point first. Alright, so now that the entire team is Divine General, literally every single orb, regardless of who it actually is going to give us extra skill points, which is good, because when we brought Overlord Shizu, when we brought the old Masked Hero, they did not give us all of the orbs being the 30% skill increase up to whatever we get to by the end of this fight. So that is nice. We no longer have to play around with who's got what orbs because they give us skill points versus who doesn't. Apart from that, Blanc for this team is going to be important for herself and Raphael. Okay, that's not a good hand, so we will come back when turn 2 looks a little bit better. Okay, so turn 2, we do need to take her out. We've used 1 stack of her alt, or her weakness resistance down because it's free, and we're not really worried about not getting her alt because we have so much alt gauge on this team eventually that it's not going to matter all that much. So we can take her out now, and we can bring in Gazel, and we could do the orb change, and we can just make this the same team that we've been using for the past 3 weeks. Like, nothing really has changed, except for the fact that now we have a new Blanc. So she's not really changing the game at whatever you want to call it. She's just adding to it, but she's not adding to it in a great way, because if we look at Raphael's skill that we've been using a lot, it stacks alt damage. Like, if in a good run that I'm going to try and get in this video, we're going to get like 30 stacks of him at least, which is 300% alt damage. So is it realistic that I need another 150% on top of that? No, we're just adding on top of the same buff instead of including a new buff into the calculation, which would be crit. And this is the first part of why I think she's just not super great. Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. We'll get a hero ult. It'll take this green orb, so that's cool. I'm just gonna send it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just get her in here for Diablo. That way she can get some ult gauge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're just gonna burn turn. So this is not gonna be a perfect run, but I don't feel like resetting for an hour and a half. So you'll just have to deal with it. We did get extra weakness strike from the hero ult, which is cool, which will help both Raphael and Blanc do more damage. And that's what they're going for. We only swap the space ults because they're the primary nuking characters. The other two ults, Diablo and Hero, we want to use those again and again and again to get extra weakness strike, which I understand. Like, it makes sense. Do I like it, though? Not particularly. Not really. Raphael only has one orb, but I want to get stacks with him. So here comes the other issue of that. Like, do I want to get extra stacks of Blanc? Yeah, not really. Do I want to get an ult with Gazel? Yeah, not really. But I can't really get around it because he has to be up front. He's the only orb changer on this team. That's a problem. That's not Blanc's fault at all. It's just something to point out that this team has a single ult swapper who only changes one orb. And now I'm starting to rant about Gazel. That's not entirely fair. This is a showcase for Blanc. But now I'm having to juggle a number of different things here. I'm trying to juggle the orb change. I'm trying to juggle resetting the green buff. I'm trying to juggle this the synergy and ult damage. Now I have to juggle this weakness resistance down plus the ult buff, or the ult swap, which only hits Raphael and herself. So when Gazel gets an ult on this turn or next turn, there's literally nothing I can do about it except send it or hold him in the back. But again, he's an orb changer. He's the only one. So Blanc is not doing anything. Like, if this was Overlord Shizu, she would change everybody's orb to green, regardless. Okay. Oh, yeah, look, 3 more orbs I gotta convert. What do you know? Is this a green coming in? It's not. Okay. Reset. Okay. So here, we're going to actually use the alt swap. I just have to make sure that I have 20 points to use it. So, boom, boom, boom. Orb change, buff, stack, and yeah, we continue on this trend. Like, we don't do anything else. And even when I do orb change here, it's going to swap the Raphael ult. It's not going to swap the Diablo ult, but I'm probably going to take Diablo out and leave Gazel because we have a green orb incoming. So is that what I really, really want to do with my life? Not really. I just don't understand. It's just terribly confusing, and I don't get it. And I think it's kind of dumb. Boom, boom, boom. Alright. Orb change at last one. Swap the space ult. Put the weakness resistance down. Stack the buff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. Alright, now we have a double Elmesia. That's good. We're entering turn 6, which is where we start getting our extra damage for everybody, except Gazel. And Blanc has done 2 things for us, and she's alt-swapped twice. And that's it. And now we need to do it again, and oh look, we need to change 3 more orbs. Holy shit, what do you know? Okay, well, let's do, yeah, let's do the reset. Boom. And then we will alt-swap away, but it's only going to hit Raphael and Elmesia, but that's another weakness resistance down. Gazel stays because he's Earth and not space. We do need him to orb change, though. And I think we swap Blanc out now, because she's done her job. And we bring Diablo in. And we need to send these ults. We need to get them out of our hands. We also need to use Elmesia again to reset all the other buffs. And so now Blanc is kind of in this weird holding pattern where she has an ult, but we don't want to use it, but we have to use it. But I don't want to use it because I want to ult swap, but I can't ult swap everybody. It's just a savage cycle. And it also makes this team take literally forever. Like, if you've been using this team at all, you understand that this team, if you're trying to get a good run, takes 4 times as long to run as another stacking team, and that's because you have to keep clicking skills over and over and over again. And again, that's not Blanc's fault. I'm just kind of airing my grievances right now. My apologies. How many skill points we're getting right now? 420 already. That's quite a bit. All right, let's just use another stack then. Okay, so we'll send these two alts. Diablo will again start giving us extra weakness strike for all of the characters. Boom, boom. He's going to get another one, though. Gazel doesn't do anything for us on his ult, but we need to get rid of it. Like, it needs to go away. He cannot have an ult on this team, like, ever, if you're trying to go for an optimized run. So, that's a good hand right there. And we have a green orb incoming, which is even better. So, we don't have access to Elmesia. Let's just do this. Boom. And then we'll take Gazel. Oh, no, actually. We'll use Diablo's buff. Boom. Okay. And then we will take him out for the hero. Yep, that pulls the green orb in. Alright, cool. We'll use the rewind. We'll alt rush a little bit because it's totally necessary. We'll take the hero out for Blanc. We'll alt swap away. Boom. And we will use another stack and another stack. So another stack of synergy and alt, another stack of the weakness resistance down. We're going to get another Elmesia next turn, so it's not a big deal. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now this is where things were quite useful, because we could alt swap away. This is the rewind turn. No alts are coming in. We have Elmesia to reset. That is a lot of Gazel orbs. Holy shit. Sure, game. Sure. We need the points, so it's like we gotta use them. Gazel's gonna have an EX ult. Congratulations. He would have had it anyway from the ult, the enamor from Elmesia in the first place. So 1, 2, and we need to use it 3 times? Yeah. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So we can't say that Blanc did nothing for this team, because she did quite a bit. It's just that we could have avoided a lot of these turns where we sent 2 orbs, or 2 alts and some orbs, and we could have just sent 6 greens and had maximum points and maximum protection gauge the entire time, instead of doing this, where we're only swapping a couple orbs. The weakness strike is cool, but does it really matter? Yeah. That's up to you to decide. What are we at? 540%. Alright, we're going to cap out. So let's do this. Let's do another stack with the weakness down. And then next turn we'll be ready to nuke with full power, because we're going to have maximum points. Right? Because we can't use anything else? Nope. Alright, so we'll get a double stack of Elmesia. 450 to go. I think for this run I will use Gazel's debuff, because I kind of want to see what it does comparatively. Alright, thank you for that. Excellent. Okay. So, get that out of the way. And we have just enough points, so Gazel debuff. Boom. Alright. We will bring the hero in for Gazel. We will use her Pierce Power buff. Boom. We will then bring Diablo in and use his Synergy Power. Boom. And then we'll use the Raphael and then the Blanc buff. So this is going to be a lot of power coming out of here. So we'll use Elmesia to reset, and now we can use Raphael again because it's free, and then we can reset again and get one more stack out of her. We can't use any more Blanc because she would alt swap away, and that's not the point. This is the nuke turn now. So, yep, one more time. And then we can check how much we actually got out of this. I know this is a long clip of her, but this is her in her prime time team setting. Like, this is what she's meant to do, so this is going to take a long time, because this team takes a long time. But now looking at it, we have 24 stacks, so 240% ult damage, plus another 150. So we're at 390% ult damage. Yeah, that's a lot. Also, 24 stacks is still a lot in any other normal team to begin with, and we could have had crit. Let's see how much damage her orbs do. Blanc currently has 145% attack, 240% synergy power, because that goes with the Raphael stacks, 55% weakness strike, which is coming from the alts that we've sent over the course of this fight with the hero and Diablo. Guaranteed pierce power, guaranteed synergy power, space attack 120. And then on the other side, we have all the debuffs going, weakness resistance down. That's coming from Blanc's alt swaps, and then the resistances and all that. So, yeah, let's see how much damage we do. Let's turn this back on now. How much damage do her 2 orbs do, and then how much does her alt do? 2.7 million damage on her orbs. That's quite a bit. That's a lot of damage on her normal orbs. And it's not even like a damage buff. Like a 200% orb would be doing over 5 million damage. And the alt looks good. The alt is just an orbital cannon from space. It looks cool. She looks hot. And she does 107 million. I was doing more than that with the hero and Overlord Shizu 3 weeks ago. And it was easier to run. So what did Blanc actually give us? Yeah, I don't know either. That's a problem. That's a definite problem. If I cannot tell the difference of what she has actually brought to the team as a brand new summonable character who came out 3 hours and 43 minutes ago, that's a problem. Just like it was a problem with the hero when she came out last week. You know, if you swap this here, the new hero, for the old OG space hero, and she was giving the crit buff instead, what did we lose? Really nothing. We actually got a bit more out of it because the old hero gave a lot of protection gauge everywhere. This hero does not. What did we lose by bringing Blanc instead of Overlord Shizu? Well, we lost 100% weakness strike and 50% alt resistance down from Shizu's buff. But we gained 150% alt damage. Okay, well, that's something that the team already had going for it from Raphael. What did we lose from the triple alt swap from Shizu that changed everybody? Well, we lost the ability to change everybody, and we gained the ability to only alt swap space characters, of which there's 2 on this team. So, I mean, you tell me. You look back at the other showcases I've done, and the other team builds that I've used for the showcases, and you tell me what the better trade-off is. Because right now, I'm not seeing it. I'm just not. She is hot. Generically, she has 150% alt damage for any team, and we're going to go into a couple other teams that it needs 150% friggin' alt damage. But, like, on her own team, I can't tell her difference between a character that came out in March than now. Problems. We got them. Alright, we made a team that can utilize her triple alt swap for space characters, and a team that needs an alt buff. So Exalted Champions with the new Isis and Guy. They're both space. This is a burst team. We're going to Tempered Edge. This stage will die easily. But this the only unit that had an alt buff on Exalted Champion was Milim, and that was a personal buff. So Guy never got that. We're going to give it to him now. So this could work. I mean, you could also, instead of Isis, you could put Visions of Coleus Violet with the magic buff. Like, that would work too. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to run it like this and try and make the most out of her skill. Alright, that'll work. We can just convert with Veldora, his 2 orbs right there. Perfect. And then we don't even need to bring the hero. We can just take Veldora out for Guy. And then we've got a good hand. And then Guy can alt rush space and wind characters, which will work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're not going to have the green buff from Veldora, which is kind of unfortunate, but we don't really need it since we have the alt rush ability with Guy. We're going to get binded in after they attack us. Boom, boom, there's the bind. Oh no, we're locked in for 2 turns. What happens when we have 3 alts? Well, now we have Blanc to take care of that for us. So, alt rush, synergy resistance down. We can use, either now or later, the weakness resistance down. It will hit all the targets. So why don't we just use it now for funsies onesies? And then we'll use Velzard to convert our entire hand to green. Give us the element buff. And now we're going to get a decent amount of gauge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so Isis has her EX ult. That's cool. We're not really trying to nuke with her. We're trying to nuke with Guy here. So boom, boom, boom. Oh no, look at all of our orbs. What are we going to do with these 3 ults? Well, we're just going to alt swap them away for the low cost of 20 points. And now we have 40% weakness strike down on the enemies, which will help us do more damage. So we don't even need to use Guy to ult rush again because we're still locked in. We're going to get the EX ults for everybody here on this turn. Okay, we can turn that off now. And we'll be ready to go. So here, I mean, she looks really good. And because we're not using very expensive skills, we're going to have enough to use her buff, the Guy buff, and the Isis buff next turn. And have enough to ult, which is the point, right? Alright, so 160, we'll have 190 points. So we'll have the 90 from Blanc, and then we'll have 100 points left over to do with whatever we want. Which we could use the Drago buff. We could use... we don't really need anything from the hero, huh? No, we don't. Okay, we actually didn't get the Blanc EX ult. Not a big deal. She's not the nuking character here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3. Ooh. We're 5 points shy. Unfortunate. Okay, well, maybe instead of using the Blanc ult swap early, we'll just use it one time, and that would give us enough points to use the Drago buff. Not that it really matters, because we're getting Drago from Velzard, but if you're not going to run specifically Protector Velzard in this scenario, in case you'd want to use it, maybe hold off. But here, I mean, we're looking good. Did we use her correctly? Yeah, we alt swapped away with her twice, right? And now we've given everybody on this team a 150% alt buff. So now Guy is going to 3000% murder this stage. And congratulations, 1.5 million damage. Isis is giving 120 alt resistance down, and Blanc's giving 150 alt damage up. Like, that's a lot of power right there just from those 2 buffs. Not to mention the weakness resistance down, and the synergy power, and the synergy resistance down, and the Drago effect buffing all the other stuff. That's not the alt and the alt resistance. Like, it's very strong on teams that can use her. Teams that need her. Specifically, space nuking teams. But if you don't need a space nuking team, or you need a different kind of alt swapper because you're running a dark team, or a fire team, or a light team, or a dark team, Blanc's not going to help you out in those alt swapping scenarios because she's only hitting space. And the alt buff, maybe you're already getting that from a different character on that team. I don't know who it is. Maybe it's a personal buff, maybe it's a team-wide buff, maybe it's not as powerful as 150%. But the fact of the matter is that she's only useful in certain scenarios. And there are a lot of characters who do their own alt buffs, right? So this Tempest Fleet Rimuru, personal alt buff. This other Space Blanc has stacking alt damage, which would work with the new Blanc. Yeah, sure, that's cool. Jean has an alt buff. Guy has an alt buff. Hinata has an alt buff. Megamine has an alt buff. Exalted Champion Milim has an alt buff. Rimuru has an alt buff. Shinsha has an EX alt buff, which would technically work with Blanc, so it's not really a good comparison. Lumi has an alt buff. Hinata has an alt buff. Shinsha has an alt buff. Shoutir has an alt buff. There are so many characters already in this game that have alt buffs that we didn't really need another character with alt. What we needed was another character to give crit, because honestly, we don't have that many. Like, we have Guy, who gives crit for physical. Okay, that's cool. Milim gives herself crit damage, but needs someone to activate her crit. Shuna, the same way, has crit damage, needs activation of crit. Who besides Guy, who gives crit right now? No, yes, no. Crit resistance down. No. Crit damage for physical. Crit for everybody. Yeah, oh, Protector Peace Rimuru. Yay. Hinata gives it to Shizu's Will and Summer Memories. Okay, cool. This Hinata gives crit resistance down. No. Ainz only gives it to Stern of Spirit and something else. No. Crit damage again. No, for physical. No. Like, I don't think you need me to continue. We needed more crit characters, not more alt damage characters. And this is why I'm so disappointed in her kit. If she had at least had crit, I would have forgiven her for the alt swap. Because then we could have said, like, oh, her turn 2 protection trait was better. But no. They gave her a generic buff, which is good, but crit is also fairly generic. And we already have so many characters that can do alt damage. We simply did not need another one. The team, the Divine General team, did not need more ult because of Raphael's skill. We're already getting so much out of that it's unnecessary. And that's what I think is the whole roundabout scenario for this entire Divine General team, is it's just, a lot of it is unnecessary. The extra ult rush on the rewind turn, unnecessary. The only space ult swap, unnecessary. The extra ult damage, unnecessary. The single orb change on Gazel, unnecessary. We just make him a double. The beatdown battle wants you to use a double orb change turn 1, but you can't with this team because Gazel only does 1. This entire team is just an exercise in unnecessary things. And she's just the icing on top of the cake. She's hot, I love her, but man, I wish she were better. And I could say that about most of this team. And we're going to end the video there because it's been a whole bunch of negativity and I'm kind of not feeling it anymore. I'm sorry if you didn't think this was a good showcase, but I mean, we used her in her best setting and we used her in an efficient setting, and that's about all I can think of right now. So let me know what you guys think. Am I being too harsh on this Blanc after seeing her in action? Do you think she has a lot of redeeming qualities because her ult buff is so very generic? Let me know. This is an open conversation. If you think she's good, I want to know why. If you think she's not good, for different reasons than what I have, let me know why. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.